Our hobby has gone pretty complicated lately. So let's get back to basics. Maybe that's too basic. Okay, stop. Let's rewind a little bit. So this is how it started. 20 years ago, I had a box lid, a metal mini, a paintbrush, and a tub of Citadel, and I was ready to wash and dry brush my way to glory. Recently though, it's all got a bit complicated. I've acquired more and more stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I love. But sometimes I wonder if I've just made my hobby too complicated. I guess I miss being that 15-year-old me who just loved painting for painting's sake, without having to think about it too much. Do you know what I mean? So recently I reached out to Frontier Wargaming and they very kindly agreed to send out one of their painting cases. And I thought that was the perfect opportunity to design the painting setup 15-year-old me would have absolutely killed for. This video isn't me telling you not to buy stuff. Nor is it me telling you have to paint with 2 paintbrushes and a box lid. No, it's about me stripping back my hobby to its most basic so I can just enjoy it straight away without all the fluff, and hopefully that helps you too. So let's unpack this case drawer by drawer and find out what's inside. I've got quite a few paintbrushes now, but we're keeping it simple, so I reckon it can be broken down into roughly 3 categories. You've got makeup brushes, which can be used for things like dry brushing, or maybe even dusting off models you've not touched for a while. Then you've got sacrificial brushes. These are brushes that have seen the best of their life already, and now they're just used for things like basing or other jobs you don't want to use your better brushes for. The last brushes are the ones you use for most of the work. They can either be synthetic brushes, or they can be Sables brushes. It doesn't really matter, it's all a personal preference. I would recommend buying a few, testing them, seeing what you like. In terms of sizes though, I have a variety of sizes from size 1 through to size 6, and it just depends on the scale of the model I'm painting. I love the Monument Hobbies Pro Synthetic range, Winsor & Newton Series 7s for the very poshest of brushes, and these Pro Art Series 3 Sables brushes. I like to build models, and although you really only need one type of clipper, I actually take 2 with me. One for rougher work or heavier resins, and the second for much finer plastic work. I've got other videos about this, so there's no need to dwell on it too much, but if you only have to take one, grab a cheaper pair off Amazon. They're much more versatile than buying something fancy. These are pen drills. This one's an electric one. It's a bit fancier, but it doesn't have as much torque. But if you can only get one, get a manual pin vise one. They have more torque and they're more controllable, although they do take a little bit longer. Hey, it's up to you though. They're all linked down in the description below. If you're dry assembling models or sticking them to the base, you want some blue tack in your kit. When you build any model, there's going to be some cleanup involved, so I like to keep some normal sandpaper around. My personal favourite, flexible sanding pads in a variety of grits, but I also like to have some files around just in case I'm working with resin models. I keep them all in a variety of shapes and sizes, just to get into all the little nooks and crannies. Once you're happy with your model, you're going to have to stick it together. If you've got a plastic model, you want to use plastic cement. Over resin or metal models, you're going to want to use superglue. It doesn't always stick straight away though. That's nothing a quick spritz of superglue accelerant won't handle. And it bonds instantly. Neat. After years of ignoring basing, I find myself wanting to spend a little bit more time on it, and so I've started to carry around some basic basing supplies wherever I go. The stuff in here is simple enough, but contains enough material to base up an entire combat patrol. Weird mossy stuff and larger bits of cork are backed up by smaller bits of cork, sand, and if you dig right down to the bottom of the pot, dust and grit too, which you can use for all different scales of material. The other cool thing in here are the little round balls of old Milliput, which I've used to make smooth river stones. They just help break things up a little bit. I've got some Milliput in here for big gaps and funky bases. I've got some Uhu glue for water effects, saliva, that sort of stuff. I've got an amazing hobby tenon saw. It doesn't take up much space, but it's saved me on multiple occasions when you're cutting off large resin tags or making cool crevasses in your base. And talking about bases, these 30mm pine blocks are crazy useful. On top of that, I've got toothpicks, but we've already talked about that in a previous video. some sponges for cleaning up oil washes and just general neating up of stuff, and some putty for filling small gaps. Once you've built it and base it, you're going to want to put it on a handle. My favourite are these Redgrass Games ones. They're really comfy to hold and they spin, which is cool. If you've made it all this way, you're likely one of the 16% of people who are already subscribed to the channel, and for that, thank you very much. If you're not one of those 16%, then what are you doing? Click the subscribe button and you can check out more of my content. While 15-year-old me used a box lid, I'm now a convert to the wet palette, and I think you should add one to your arsenal too. They're a good way of keeping your paints active for a little bit longer, although in reality you should really change your paints every day, regardless of how long they'll last. If you don't have the budget though, don't stress too much. I painted for 10 years using a plate. Let's talk about paint. You're going to want to prime your model first to ensure the paint sticks properly. The first layer of paint should be the primer, and I really rate this one from Monument Hobbies. It's a plain black primer that dries matte. It's thin and it's easy to apply with a brush or with an airbrush if that's your jam. Before we dive too much further though, I've also got some thinner and some Lamier medium in the box. They just help to adjust the properties of the paint for when I need that. You absolutely don't need either of these two things, but sometimes you want to change the property of the paints and this can make it a little bit easier. And of course, once you're done with your paints, then you need to clean it with some brush soap. Use shampoo as a cheap alternative. I also really like these tattoo water bottles for rinsing off brushes and other things. For speedy basing and textures, I've yet to find something as quick and easy as the Citadel equivalents. Agrellan Earth cracks really easily, Valhallan Blizzard is amazing for snow, Sterling Technical Mud looks wicked, and Astro Granite gives you a fun gritty texture. You'll have seen these around already, but the Dirty Down products, Moss, Verdigris and Rust are absolutely incredible for weathering. They do exactly what they say on the tin. I use a variety of colours of Tamiya clear paints to make cool looking golds or candy coats, Citadel shades to make easy tints. Fluorescents are incredible at amping colours up to 11. Pop an orange in a red and watch it pop. Pop a pink in a magenta and oh my goodness, it looks incredible. A few different shades from the Scale 75 Metal and Alchemy range can make your metallics really simple. A dark base, a couple of midtones and a highlight colour is all you really need. But in my mind, the king of metallics is Vallejo Metal Colour. Easy coverage, beautiful paint. If you want to make it funky, you can add inks in it to make it any colour you like too. We've got a zinc white and we've got a titanium white. Ask me why in the comments below. The final thing in the box is a tried and tested skin recipe. Sometimes you just want something you can pick up and put down on a model. It's as simple as that. My go-to is Shadow Flesh, then Tan Flesh, then Olive Flesh from Pro Acryl. White, black, undead skin tone, sunny skin tone, nature green, Terebra steel, silver grey, and sunray, tourmaline red, the red, warm yellow, cold yellow, magenta, violet, phthalo blue red shade and green shade, oxide brown dark, medium, and light, and royal brown, then olive green, alizarin crimson, and cobalt turquoise. There are so many amazing paints out there that you can just pick the one you like the most. So if you haven't found a brand you love yet, go into your local gaming shop, buy a few paints from a few different ranges, and see whether you like them or not. I use Chimera because they have a matte finish, a creamy texture, and they're highly pigmented. If you've watched my channel recently though, you'll know that a range of paints has been creeping its way in, which I've been really impressed with. This is Ultra Acryl. All I'm going to say is that yellow is absolutely insane. I'm going to wrap up this video with some glamour shots of the incredible case that Frontier Wargaming sent me. Thank you so much guys. And while I'm doing that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who supports me, particularly those who support me over my free Discord server and over on Patreon as well. You know who you are and I'm eternally grateful. If you've enjoyed the video and want to come and hang out with me, you can do so on my free Discord server. You're more than welcome and the links are down below. You know what to do at this point. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time.